As you can see, I've returned from Switzerland and I'm back in my office here in London. But I thought I wanted to round things off and just give you one final report on the Biel Chess Festival. There are so many events going on over the week and a half of the Biel Chess Festival. Open tournaments, blitz tournaments, rapid play tournaments. There was a tournament for doctors, and the main open tournament, the Masters Open tournament, was incredibly strong. It was won this year by the American Grandmaster Sam Shankland. Sam is 24 years old. Many of you might remember that he had a superb performance in the last Olympiad in 2014 in Tromsø. He won the gold medal for the reserve board. And, he was on fine form in Biel, so I've selected one of his games to look at. He won the tournament with 7.5 out of 9. He coasted to first place with a short draw in the last round, but I would want to look at his first round game. Now, this was not the most testing game for him, but it features a trap which is, it's a very old trap, but I think very instructive. So let's take a look at it. So it's a Berlin. By the way, he's playing against Jakob Freund, who's rated 2292. Sam keeps the tension against the Berlin with d3. And this is the move of the moment instead of going into the endgame. And, many players play bishop c5 here. But there is nothing wrong with playing more solidly and just playing d6. Bishop d7. So rook e1. What white is doing is basically preparing the move d4. And just getting a typical Spanish position. Now a6. Black forces the pace. In fact, forces an exchange really, because after, let's say, if bishop a4, then in fact black can trap this bishop and get the bishop anyway. So Shankland takes immediately on c6, and this means that he can actually get in d4 very quickly, and this is quite a well-known position. And here black makes a terrible mistake. The best continuation is just to exchange on d4, and obviously white is slightly better in this position. You can play this in various ways. Tarrasch played b3 in 1909. It's not a bad move. Queen f3 looks to my eyes a very natural move in order to play the knight to f5, and that's been seen in quite a few games. Tal played like this. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave played like this in 2009. That game went like this. And, white obviously has a pleasant space advantage, but black is very solid here, and Vachier-Lagrave's opponent, Granda Zunia, actually managed to draw this game. But it's a question of taste. Not many people like to play such a kind of passive position. But in this game, black castled, thinking he was being very clever in keeping the tension. Of course, one would like to try to maintain this pawn on e5 if possible. I should say that, instead of castles, if knight d7 to hold the e5 pawn. I mean, that's really the move we would like to play. Unfortunately, this has a tactical drawback because the bishop is now trapped, and so on. So yes, that's the reason that black has to give up his strong point on e5. But here black attempts to keep the pawn there for a moment, and this is a well-known trap. So in fact, white can take a pawn here. Now, not knight e5 straight away, because then black will take on e4, and this position is roughly level. But instead, white takes on d8 first, and then takes the pawn on e5. Tal actually had this position against Ivkov. Ivkov, a very strong grandmaster in 1974, and Ivkov realised the error of his ways and simply dropped the bishop back, but then he was just a pawn down for nothing, and Tal's technique was quite sufficient to win the game. Instead, here, black played, in our game, black played bishop e4, and this is an old trap. At first, it seems as though black is being very clever because, of course, rook takes knight allows the back rank checkmate. So has black got away with this? Is black going to equalise the position? Well, no. There is a very neat move. There's only one way to do it, but white is actually winning material in this position. White plays knight d3. That's the only move to win material. First of all, you can see the d file is now closed, so no more back rank tricks for the moment. And rook takes knight is threatened, so if the knight moves away, then rook takes bishop, so there's a pin. So black has to defend the knight. And now white attacks the knight. Obviously, again, if the knight moves away, then the rook takes the bishop. So the only try is bishop c5 check. And here, well, if the king goes in the corner, then knight f2 is going to save black. Or if the king goes to f1, then bishop b6, and you can see because of the rook opposite the king, then actually black gets away with this. But white doesn't win material after the take because there's a discover check. But white does win in this position with knight takes bishop. Knight takes knight, and now bishop g5. It's all forced, all forced. Bishop attacks the rook, but also threatens bishop e7, attacking the rook on f8 and knight on c5. Simple double attack. So rook d5, an attempt to defend one of the loose pieces, but bishop e7 anyway, and now a very simple move, c4, attacks the rook, and of course when the rook moves away, then bishop takes knight, wins a piece. Well, in our game, black struggled on with king f7, but of course white is now an exchange up, and this is pretty simple to win, although I should say Sam Shankland makes an accurate move now. Of course you can just take rooks, and in fact, of course, in these positions with two rooks against rook and knight when you're the exchange up, it's very desirable to exchange off the pair of rooks. It makes technique, the win, much easier. But Sam first played rook c1, very good move. So doesn't exchange yet. So there are threats down here, and obviously if b6, then you can exchange and then dislodge the knight and the c-pawn drops. So to avoid that, black has to exchange first, and that means that black's king can't even get counterplay by attacking the d-pawn because it's cut along the e-file. So this is very good technique. And once white's king comes into the game, it's hopeless. Well, black played f4, but another nice move, ensuring that this pawn can't be defended by a pawn on g5. And now the rook just swung round, and here black resigned. Obviously if b6, then rook c4 and you collect pawn, and that is absolutely hopeless. Funnily enough, there's another way to reach this trap. After bishop b5, instead of knight f6, black can play d6 straight away and play like this, and this reaches exactly the same position, with the exception that here you'll notice the pawn is on a7 and not a6, but in essence it's exactly the same thing. And in fact this was first played in a game between Tarrasch and Marco Dresden in 1892, and so on. We've just seen all this. It went in exactly the same way, except the pawn's on a7. and there Marco resigned. Sam Shankland showed me this game after he played it, and was, I mean, he wasn't exactly proud of it, but he just thought it was quite amusing that actually he said almost his very first chess lesson from a strong player, they looked at this trap. He just found it, a very strange coincidence, and that chess lesson was about forcing calculation and forcing moves, and you shouldn't stop calculating when there are still forcing moves in a position. A very good lesson and a very well-known trap, but not to his opponent there. So there we go. That concludes my coverage of the Biel tournament. I should say there's also a 99-second interview with Sam Shankland, which was great fun. Sam's a great guy. He's good value. And Sam will be playing in the American team again. That is playing in the Olympiad in Baku that starts at the beginning of September. So watch out for him there. He's certainly doing very well. The Sinkfield Cup in St. Louis is taking place over the next few days. Unfortunately, I won't be giving daily coverage. After my work in Biel, I'm taking a holiday. Yeah, I don't get those very often. So anyway, I'll be back after the tournament is over, and I will give a couple of clips, but a couple of videos showing a couple of the best games from St. Louis. So there we go. Plenty to look forward to, and you can still watch videos while I'm away on holiday. Thanks for watching.